Okay, this is, I have a lot of green clay left over from other events. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some of this clay. This clay is like really old, or as we say in Northern California, hella old. And so we're just going to see if we can give it new life. Now I'm going to run it in the food processor, and then I'm going to press it through the pasta machine. And if it's too crumbly, then I'm going to throw it back in the food processor, and then I'm going to add some liquid polymer clay to it and see if that helps. Now, I'm just going to do this. I'm going to do this real time, as much as real time as I can get. I mean, I'm not going to have a half an hour video while the thing is in the oven, but a lot of people cut out steps. I don't like to do that. It's a lot of editing. Okay, so this will be noisy. And I keep on doing this until it rolls into a ball. If it rolls into a ball, it's sticky enough and it's warm enough and it's ready to be put through the pasta machine. Well, it doesn't seem to be balling up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to squeeze some liquid polymer clay in there, and that'll give it, like, I mean, it sticks together if you look at it. It's starting to stick together, but I don't know. Maybe should we hold off? We'll see. Let's give it another. Maybe I'm just being impatient. Now, I'm going to give it some squeeze. So I showed you the clean bottle. This is the clean bottle. Hasn't even been opened. This is the crapped out icky bottle that I'm actually going to use. So let's just squeezing. Okay. I don't do measuring. When I'm showing people how to cook too, I don't do measuring. I just go, oh, it's just like, looks enough. Okay. Now, let's see if this makes the clay stick together. Oh, it's starting to clump. There we go. See? Starting to clump together. That's what we're looking for. Okay, it's clumping. So, I always end up with green on green. This green work table and green clay. But you use what you got. Waste not, want not. Okay. Okay. So then, see, it's nice and warm at this point. See? And if you were mixing colors, like of equal parts of blue and yellow to make green, or equal parts of, and see, this is called a taffy pull. just like pulling taffy in the old days. And see, when it pulls like that, the plasticizers are nice and distributed. Okay, before you put clay through the pasta machine, give your pasta machine a little break and smoosh it into like a patty. You know, I mean, if you just put cold, unconditioned clay in a pasta machine and just crank it through, force it, your pasta machine's not going to last very long. I've had this, God, how long? Sweet. Look at that. Is that sweet? But I'm going to do it one more time. And then you put it this way. You know why? If you put it this way, what do you think is going to happen? Air bubbles. You're going to trap air bubbles. And then you're going to cry. Somebody's going to end up crying. And then we'll have to say, why are you crying? She told you don't put it in that way. Okay? So, whoop. I'm going to have to tighten the pasta machine to the table a little bit more. You use your handle if you can't tighten it tight with your hand. You put your handle in. Oh, feels like a wrench. Okay, so what? About 5 minutes from start to finish. Okay, so now we got some clay. We got some clay to work with to cover the pens. And I'm going to stop right here and get some tools. Okay, I was looking for this. One thing I want to make mention is that when you have a tissue blade, like this, be nice to yourself and put a bit of clay on each end of the dull side. Okay? And see, there's a reason for this. When you lay it down on the table, those little pieces of clay will raise the dull side up, so you go boink, and you pick it up from the dull side all the time. I've been doing this for, since 1999. You do the math. I have not cut myself once because I remembered this tip from when I was a beginner. Okay? And these things, this is just raw clay left over from, God, probably a malachite experiment or something. Okay, so we're gonna cover. I think Crafty Goat also used green clay when she was doing her example. I think it's because we make a lot of leaves and stuff. Okay, so just lay the pen out like that. It's like we're sort of eyeballing it. Everything's like really rough. Okay, and so you don't have to make yourself crazy. Okay, now this is pressed on the widest setting of the pasta machine, right? Note how thick it is, right? When you're rolling clay around something, whether it's a pen. Oh, Crafty Goat covers her pens with liquid, translucent liquid polymer clay. I don't. I haven't found that it really needs it. Okay. Okay. Now, see when you're rolling your clay and you touch down, you touch the other side of the clay, so it gets an indentation. And you can see that indentation a little bit, right? Okay. Cut on the inside of that indentation because it has to match. You cut it as far in as this is thick if you want to get a flushed seam. So we're gonna, I don't know, you can see the indentation a bit right there. Okay, so we just go on the inside of that. Now this is I haven't been doing any clay in a while. It's a long story. I had a divorce and everything got like kind of shimmeled. And then I had to figure out how to make some money. Okay, now see how we're going to get a nice flushed seam. I got clay underneath my nails. Occupational hazard. We're going to get a nice flushed seam because we cut in that indentation as thick as the clay was. I'm sure that some sort of like propeller head who can do some math behind that, right? Okay. And the thing about seams with polymer clay is that if you jiggle them and wiggle them, the seams will disappear. You know, because we want to. Now, if this had any kind of design, we'd be able to see the seam, right? Go like this. And really, that's pretty much it. For the top, you can like either smoosh the top over, close it up. Easy breezy, lemon squeezy. Okay, now this is going to have a little extra because it tapers. Okay, so just squeeze it down, taper it, break off the excess. Bob's your uncle and Fanny's your aunt, and you're pretty much done. Now if you want to do something more to this, like add little bits, little flower petals or whatever, you just go ahead and do it. You can also cure this, meaning put it in the oven for a half an hour at what, 130 centigrade, 375 Fahrenheit, and then add stuff to it with liquid polymer clay. Or you can add stuff to it now. But that's it. Start to finish. What? We got like 13, 14 minutes. That's it. You know, don't overthink these things. And here's the seam. Can you see the seam? If you run over the seam with your finger, you can pretty much burnish it out. You can also run over the seam with a clay shaper. We'll be working with those in a minute. But that's it. And then you just stick it on a bamboo skewer, stick it in a coffee tin stuffed with aluminum foil, and you're done. You have a covered pen. Oh, what you can also do, cure this, get wood carving tools, carve stuff into it after it's been cured. Carve stuff into it, and in the indentation, put another color clay. So you can say, I love you so much. And then you fill it with a different color, contrasting clay. Cure that. Looks really cool. It's like inlay. Okay? So that's it. And